And we are live. Welcome, mystery and thriller fans. I'm your on air host and author, Sara DiVello, and I'm so excited to welcome back for the third time, lucky number 3, New York Times bestselling author Heather Gudenkauf, here to give us the inside scoop on her brand new book, Everyone is Watching. Heather, welcome to Mystery and Thriller Mavens. Tell us about this book.
Yeah, it's so good to be back. So good to see you again. So Everyone is Watching is the story of 5 strangers who all receive an invitation to take part in an over-the-top reality competition series where they all are vying for $10 million. And so they travel to this remote location in wine country in Northern California. But once they get there, they quickly realize that what they signed up for is not the game they thought they would be playing. So lots of secrets, lots of action, a really wild ride.
A wild ride indeed. And I cannot wait to talk to you about every single twisting, gasp inducing turn. But first, I just want to welcome everyone who is watching. We are broadcasting live to 7 different destinations across Facebook and YouTube. So, hey, mystery and thriller loving friends, no matter where you're watching from, you're in the right place. This is the right time. It is Mystery Monday. And because Mondays can be murder, we're going to make it a little less painful for you and get your week off to a killer start. So if you've been here before, you know the drill. And if you're new, welcome, friends. Here's the drill. Every Monday, I give you my handpicked featured authors, and you get to ask them questions about the book before it comes out. So fun. So just get the questions going in the comments, and I'll get them right over to New York Times bestselling author Heather Gudenkauf. Catch a clue, aka Wendy. Welcome to the conversation, saying hi, Sara and Heather. Hi, Wendy, aka Catch a Clue. Robin, welcome and happy birthday. Thanks for spending your birthday with us. She says, hello, Sara and Heather.
Yes, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Robin. We have Renee saying, hi, Sara and Heather from Southeast Florida. Hi, Renee. Welcome. Thanks for joining me and Heather. We have Tony joining us from Facebook saying, cannot wait to read this one. I love all of your books. Tony, tell us what you love about Heather's books. I know what I love, but I want to know what you love. Robin saying, it is Mystery Monday with Killer Heather. Indeed, we have Killer Heather in the house. So Killer Heather, tell us about how you got the idea for this book and why you wanted to kill these characters this particular way.
Yeah, so I readily admit I am a reality show fan. I tend to be drawn towards the competition series like Survivor, The Amazing Race, where the contestants have to take part in physical and mental as well as social challenges. And so I just am fascinated by the kinds of people who choose, actually choose to go on these shows and put themselves in such uncomfortable positions. And so that was definitely in the back of my mind as I was writing this book. But also, a big part of the story isn't just this crazy reality series, but the audience that is watching is a part of the story as well. So not only do we see the contestants taking part, we see flashbacks into the contestants' lives, we also see the audience sitting behind their keyboards writing comments about what they're seeing as this is being live streamed across the world. And I think it's really interesting. This was one part I really wanted to explore with the book. How we as an audience kind of feel an ownership over the people we see on TV and these reality shows. We think of them more as maybe characters than real life people. And we all have opinions. All you have to do is go to the comment section of any thread about a reality show and see how people really feel. So I really wanted to include that part into the story as well.
Heather, that's a really interesting part. And I also fully admit that I am a reality TV person. I also admit it's not just the competition shows. My husband and I just finished watching Love is Blind season 6 last night, the reunion. And I
Mhm.
was very interested to see, because that's when they take the questions, the level of ownership that we feel. Because a lot of the questions were my questions. I mean, I didn't submit them, but I was like, that's what we were wondering. That's what we were
Mhm.
wondering. And it is interesting, the level of ownership and commitment we feel to these characters. And it's almost kind of the same thing with the royal family. We watch, I'm a
Mhm.
shameless royal watcher. Why do I care where Kate Middleton is? I don't know. But it's like we
Mhm.
do almost view those real people as reality show people too. Why do we care?
I don't know. I think it's, maybe a sense of voyeurism. We like to watch the lives of other people unfold in front of us. And, either we could be thinking, oh, I wish I had that life, or thank goodness I don't have that life, or, living vicariously through others and, the shocking things that they may say or do. And, sitting, behind the screen is a very safe place for us. So, we can do it pretty much anonymously, and we get involved and attached, and have very strong opinions
Hmm.
about what we see.
That is a very good point. Um, Lindsay, welcome to the conversation, saying, hi, Heather. Dana, joining us from Colorado. Nettie, hello from Illinois. Karen says, you're her favorite killer. Hi, Sarah and Heather. Hi, Karen. Chrissy, joining us from Virginia, says she's excited about this book. Robin thanks you for the birthday wishes. Oh, we're so honored you spend your birthday with us, Robin.
Mhm.
Renee is showing up with the killer knives. Tony saying she loves the twists, the characters, everything. Let's pause there and talk about some of these twists. So we actually open with one character watching the show, joining the chat, and quite surprised by what is going on screen, which appears to be potentially deadly. Heather, how did you think of the idea of characters possibly killing each other off on this, taking basically survival to an actual
Mhm.
survival level?
Yeah, yeah. I just thought it would be really, kind of a fun, wild ride to, take these characters who are, pretty desperate because of circumstances in their own lives to win this money. They, each one of them comes to the table with, some needs and some wants and some secrets that they definitely want to keep hidden. And they'll do just about anything to get this money. And so we have Mare, who is a mom and from Iowa. Typically, my books are all set in Iowa, but for this book, I needed to step out of Iowa for the purposes of the book. But one of my characters, Mare, is from my home state, and she's got two young girls, one of whom has a life-threatening illness, and she doesn't have the money to pay for her treatment. So she has to do whatever it takes to get that money, and she will. And then we have a former senator, we have an attorney, we have a psychiatrist, and we have an executive to a television show. And so all these people come together desperate to make some money. But I thought, how fun would it be to take, what we see in a typical reality show, which we know is, can be dangerous. We've all seen the life flights come in, to the island on Survivor when someone gets injured. But what would happen if the show was actually trying to kill you? What would that be like? And who's behind it and why? And how long will these these contestants hold on because of how desperate they are for the money?
Because sometimes it does seem like the show's trying to kill them. I
It
mean,
does feel that way.
on the shows we watch, like whether it's
Yeah, yeah,
actually kill them, like Survivor, and
right,
someone's eating something disgusting,
right.
or emotionally you're just ripped raw and everyone is then, coming for you.
Right.
So very interesting. Karen says she loves The Amazing Race. Chrissy
Mhm,
watches Dance Moms.
mhm,
Julie admits she's a little embarrassed to admit she watches Married at First Sight. Julie, I watch Love Is
mhm.
Blind, so no
Yeah,
shame here.
no shame, no embarrassment in this space. We are all in a safe reality show space.
Yeah, exactly. We're all sharing here.
Yeah.
Gasha Clue says her favorite was Echo Challenge. Not sure if they still do it. Renee wants to know, she says, Killer Heather, would you be on a reality show? If so, which one? Ooh. Hmm.
I would love to think that I could be on Survivor, but I couldn't do the food, like the weird food that they eat. That would be my downfall. I would just wouldn't be able to eat the things they are forced to eat. Um, I would love to be able to, travel and, have that experience, but I don't know if I'm brave enough. I feel pretty comfortable sitting on the couch watching everybody else, and do that as well. So,
Exactly. Like I remember when the Olympics were just on, and someone posted, that like when we're sitting comfortably on our couch, stuffing our faces with Cheetos, but like criticizing someone's, triple backflip. We're like, get it together, as we're like comfortably on our couch. And it's so true.
mhm.
It's the same thing. Lindsay, welcome to the conversation. She says, I already love all of Heather's book, but this one sounds even more up my alley because I love game shows and reality TV. I think this is up your alley, Lindsay. Legina says, hi from Virginia. Hi.
Yeah.
Dana says, great questions. Oh
Mhm.
my gosh, we're loving this questions. Oh, Readers Gotta Read loves cooking competitions. Oh my God, I
Oh,
forgot
for
about those.
sure.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, for sure. That would be something I would love to do as well. That would be fun. Yeah.
Nettie says, Nettie wants to know, do the viewers in the book try to warn the contestants of
Smart.
dangers?
Ooh. Well, I think, there is a little, and it's not giving away too much, but I think in that opening scene, if I'm remembering correctly, they're trying to decide whether they need to call for help for some of the characters in the book, for the competition. So, there's definitely some, eyebrows raised the the game. But it's interesting because even then, some of the viewers are saying things like, "It's not real. Reality TV isn't real. Just relax." So, that is that kind of what is real, what isn't real, and everybody's just right along for the ride.
Exactly, because in that scene, they're wondering, wait, is this real? Should we call the police? Should we, did someone just die? Did we just
Mhm.
witness a murder? But it is a question because there is so many things that look real these days. A very
Mhm.
interesting point. Donna, welcome to the conversation, saying she loves your books. Krista saying she cannot wait to
Thank
read.
you, Krista.
Yay, so many fans in the house. Robin saying, I'm a big fan of Survivor. I watched from the beginning, especially the second season in Africa when local Lex Van der Gerg was on. Nettie clarifying, warn, not earn. We knew what you meant, Nettie. Katie saying, really looking forward to the release. Yay. John's joining us from Northeast Ohio. Katie saying she loves your writing and the twists being slowly revealed. Let's talk about that slow reveal, Heather. Do you plot out your books and then mark in perhaps red pencil where those slow reveals will be? Do they just come to you organically? Let's give us a scoop.
Well, I am definitely in the pantser realm of writing, which means I write by the seat of my pants typically. I have an idea for a book. I think I know where it's going. I, think of the characters, really develop them, and then I start writing. I really write myself into so many corners doing it that way. And I especially did this write myself into a lot of corners with this book because when you are creating like brand new reality series, you have to know where you're going and what you're doing and what each piece means. So I had a lot of fits and starts. I rewrote this book two or three times at least. There were huge scenes that were really important, I thought, as I was writing the book that ended up on the cutting room floor. So no, I really learned the importance of plotting during this particular project. So much so that for my current project I'm working on, I really did sit down for quite a while and plot out, section by section where I thought it was going to go and where it's going to end up. And the characters kind of do what they want anyway. but I do have this roadmap for my next book. So I'll keep you posted on how
Ooh.
that goes.
Keep us posted. I'm a
Yeah.
reformed pantser plotter myself, Heather.
Mhm.
This
Yeah.
was Broadway Butterfly was so painful to write unplotted. I am committing to you and to all of us here together
Mhm.
at this plotter pantser intervention that I will be team plotter going forward because I just don't think I can
Yeah.
do it anymore. Ooh, Renee wants to know, Heather, would you consider being on one of the housewife shows?
No, they stress me out. I mean, I watched some of them in the earlier days, but I seriously would like my heart would be pounding so hard because I would just be feeling so like stressed out from their lives. I'm like, I can't even do this for an hour. How can they do this every day? So no,
But what
they're great shows.
so are you saying we won't see you on the Real Housewives of Iowa, Heather?
No, no,
the
we will
real
not.
the Real Housewives of Mystery and Thrillers. I
That
I
I
would
could do.
tune in.
That would be my vibe. I mean,
That would
fellow writers, we would sit and like drink wine and talk and plot out books. And it'd be great. There'd be
I'm
no
but
drama
no,
except
I'm gonna
for
crank up the drama. I'll go around with, my little sticks and, fan the flames. Oh my God. Chrissy saying she also loves cooking
Mhm,
competitions. Wendy wants to know more about the writing process.
mhm.
Me too. Okay, Heather
Yeah,
Gudenkauf, New York Times bestselling author of, is this your eighth or ninth book?
this is my 10th.
Oh my God, you're 10th. Okay, so
Yeah,
we were just talking. Okay, so Heather has
yeah.
been on, this is her third time on the show, lucky number three. So the
Mhm.
first one was 8, 9, and now number 10. Okay, so New York Times bestselling author Heather Gudenkauf, tell us about your writing process. Do you sit at that desk at 7 a.m. and pound out
Mhm.
1,000 words or one chapter? Is it, I will not get my butt out of the seat until I've written for 8 hours? We need to know every little thing.
Yeah, for me, it is different for each phase of the writing process. So, like as I was saying, I spend a lot of time with the book I'm working on, plotting it out. So that was a lot of hours with a notebook actually, and just jotting ideas, brainstorming, mapping things out. Um, I typically keep a notebook with all the characters in them and kind of do a character bible in handwritten where I work on developing everything I can think about them. When I get into the actual writing phase, I really do try to have a writing goal every day. And depending on my timeline for my writing timeline, it's usually 1,000 to 2,000 words a day, which some days can take me a few hours, and some days it can take me 10 hours. It's just wild how what's flowing, what's working. It can be pretty wild. And then periodically throughout the process, I'll print out what I have so far and I'll do a deep dive into what I've written so far. And that's again, hand to paper, handwritten, making changes, and then going back and making those revisions, then going back and writing some more. And so it really varies from whatever phase of the book I'm in and how much time I'm actually sitting behind my keyboard.
Ooh, thank you for that. A question, catch a clue, and thank you for that answer, Heather. Elizabeth joining us from Facebook. She said, Heather, would you please share your journey to getting your first book published? Yeah, tell us about that process.
Sure, yeah. So, I'm not a writer by trade originally. I am a teacher. I taught 3rd and 4th grade for a really long time, and, um, I had the idea for my first book, The Way to Silence, which is about 2 young girls who disappear into the woods and only one comes out and she doesn't speak. I had that idea while I was teaching 3rd grade, and it was just rolling around in my brain for so long. I just knew I had to write it. So I packed up my classroom for summer break, bought a journal, and I started writing The Way to Silence in longhand. I, of course, didn't write the whole thing in longhand. That would be incredibly inefficient. But I did finish a very rough first draft before I got my classroom ready for that fall. Shoved it in a drawer, and didn't open the drawer again until winter break. And I asked myself, what am I going to do with this? And I had no idea because I wasn't in the publishing world. I didn't, know anything about it. But I got a great book called The Writer's Market, which I think they still have the physical copies, but now they're probably on it's online, a lot of it. And I searched for a literary agency that represented authors that wrote the kinds of books I wanted to write. And funnily enough, there was an agency that did represent authors I enjoyed, but also one of the authors was a children's book author by the name of Mary Pope Osborne, who writes the Magic Treehouse series. If you have kids or grandkids, or you're probably familiar. And I thought, well, this must be the place to be, even though it's completely out of my genre. I was so impressed that they represented her. So I sent off a query letter and the first 50 pages, and they liked what they saw and asked to read the rest. And several months passed, and I hadn't heard anything, and I was getting very nervous. And so then I finally called the agency and said, "This is Heather from Iowa. Like, I'm the only Heather in the state of Iowa." And luckily, she remembered me and said that we could work together, but it needs a lot of work. So we spent about a year and a half working on the manuscript back and forth. I would work on it, send it to her. She would give feedback. I'd go back and work on it. We did that for a year and a half. And then it took about another year and a half to find a publisher. And amazingly, a lot of rejection letters came in that year and a half. But luckily it found a home, and it's been a thrill ride ever since.
I love that story. Elizabeth, thank you for the
Mhm.
wonderful
Mhm.
question. And Heather, thank you for that lovely answer. Kim says, I am one of your biggest fans, Heather. I can't wait to see you again in May in CF.
I'm
Yay.
excited.
Renee says, your book sounds so fun. I totally agree. Chrissy saying, I've loved all of your books. Oh my gosh, we have so many Heather fans here.
Mhm.
Kim saying, Heather, isn't this this book, the first one you wrote outside of the state of Iowa? Being from Iowa, I obviously enjoy reading your books based on familiar locations. Yeah. So tell us about the choice to
Yeah.
place this one in Northern California in wine country.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was a big decision for me because all my books to date have been set in my home state, which I adore, I love, and I love writing about it. And but I needed all the characters in this book to be outside their comfort zone for this story to work. And so I knew I wanted to have a character from Iowa because I always do, and there's definitely some Iowa elements in this book, but I wanted to take them out of their comfort zone to a remote, isolated place where pretty much, for all intents and purposes, they are held captive if they want to take part in this game. And so I thought that wine country would be a lot of fun. And I had every intention of going to visit wine country as I was writing as research, but the pandemic hit. And so I never did get a chance to do that. So maybe someday, I'll be able to do that.
I think so. And then, and then I think you should set, your next book in Bora Bora, and you should go there for research. And then you should set your next book in Paris, and then you should go there for research, and then Italy,
Yeah,
and you should just,
there we
um,
go.
Robin saying the dang snakes are so real on Survivor. And also it took Lex 6 months to get rid of his
Ooh,
stomach parasites. Yuck. Ew.
yeah,
Ugh.
yeah.
Gross. I don't want to think about that. That is, yeah,
Mhm.
Renee and I are barfing. Uh-oh, not everyone shares how we feel. Chrissy saying she
Mhm.
loves snakes. Yeah, okay, so Chrissy, I think you might be really good on Survivor. Head over,
Yes.
because I'm that having no fear of these things would be a very good competitive advantage. Katie saying, Heather Schmiede Gudenkauf, thank you for commenting on my post about the slow reveals. I appreciate you sharing your process. Katie, that is what we're here for, to connect readers to their favorite writers and introduce them to their next favorite. So here you go. This is what we're all about. Chrissy's wondering, Heather, what kind of tips would you give for someone new to writing? Great question, Chrissy.
Yeah, that is a great question. I think I would say write the story that you want to read. I think sometimes we worry so much about what's popular out there, what's selling, what genre, but write about the story you want to tell And if you love what you're writing, if you love the characters, you might not necessarily like the characters, but if you love the story that you're telling, things will come to come together. And know that always, whatever you write isn't in indelible ink. You can go back and revise, which I think is, I've learned to kind of embrace as my favorite part of the writing process because I have to do so much of it. And that's okay. It took me a while to realize that what I first put down on the page isn't always golden, and most times it's not. And so it's okay to go back and fix things up and make it better.
Great question there, Chrissy, and thank you so much for the answer, Heather. You know, in advice culled over a 10-book New York Times bestselling career. Thank you for sharing that. Sharon saying thank you for sharing, and she is waiting for the book. Which thank you for that that perfect lead in there, Sharon, because we have the pre-order link right here. So whether you are watching on Facebook or YouTube, pre-order from our favorite woman-owned independent bookstore. That is, of course, Murder by the Book, and the good folks at the bookstore will ship it out to you anywhere you live the day the book drops. So here is that link to pre-order tonight and get your mitts on Everyone Is Watching. Melissa saying, what a great day for author interviews. I loved the overnight guest. And I can't wait for the new novel. Yay, Melissa. Thank you so much for joining us. Kim wants to know, do you get a lot of your story ideas from any true crime news or stories? Great question.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, for everyone is watching, that was really more from the world of reality TV. But most of my books definitely have a kernel that comes from news stories or true crime stories. And then I ask myself a lot of what if questions. What if this would happen? What if that would happen? And then it kind of morphs into its own story. But absolutely, the world around me is the best place to get inspiration.
I love that. Lori saying, your books are what got me reading again many, many years ago. Now I can't get enough. I just love your books. Oh, Lori,
Thank
that's so
you. Thanks,
lovely. Thank you
Lori.
so much. Susan saying, Woodstock, here you come. I love that. Susan saying, hello from Nashville.
Mhm.
Hi, Susan. Renee saying, your persistence in the process has paid off. Absolutely. That's a really good point. Thank you for that, Renee. Heather, oh, sorry, who is to me? Anne saying, how interesting to learn about that process about your first book. Absolutely. Karen saying, Weight of Silence was such a great story. Robin saying, elementary teachers are so important.
Mhm.
Sharon saying, thank you so much for sharing that with us. And now we're waiting for this next one. Yay. Yeah, I always say that Heather used to school the kids and now she schools the bad guys.
I love
um,
that.
Yeah, I love that too. I want to talk about some of the praise that this book has gotten, Heather. So let's kick off with one of our favorite humans, Ms. May Cobb. And she
Mhm.
says that this book is Big Brother meets Clue. Now, as someone who loved Clue growing up, I like to be Miss Scarlet. This was the perfect blurb for me. Tell us about that, Heather.
Yeah, so oh gosh, the kindness of other writers is just so greatly appreciated, and May really nailed it. This, you know, it's the Big Brother where people are locked in this big old house and there's nowhere to go, and all these really strong personalities, and then uh, all these clues are dropping about past lives, about past secrets. And so, of course, it's just right for something bad to go wrong. And yeah, so I just so appreciate that May and so many other authors took the time to read the book and offer some very kind words.
Oh, I love that. Melissa saying
Mhm,
before she was found had to be inspired by a true
mhm.
story. Heather, give us the scoop.
Yeah, absolutely was. So before she was found is the story of three young girls who preteen girls who go into a train yard, and only two come out okay, and the other one we find is uh, injured quite terribly. And it is based on, I think, any people who follow true crime or the news will see a parallel to the Slender Man case, which came out of Wisconsin, which isn't far from where I live, about some young girls who were intrigued, obsessed with an online entity called the Slender Man. And while that is the kernel of uh, inspiration for Before She Was Found, my story, of course, takes itself in a completely different direction. But yeah, absolutely. Once again, where something in the news really catches my eye, and I think, what if could I make this my own?
Good spotting there, Melissa, with the
Mhm.
real story. Very good eyes there. Y'all, here again is that pre-order link so that you can pre-order your copy of Everyone is Watching right now. Some incredible words of praise. Julia Haberlin saying Heather Gudenkauf manages to smash it out of the park every time. Hannah Mary McKinnon saying, no wonder Heather Gudenkauf is one of my favorite authors. Hank Philippi Ryan calling the book riveting, relentless, and absolutely captivating. So you will want to get your mitts on this book. Oh, Laura says she already pre-ordered and she can't wait for her copy to arrive. Yay, Laura. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Laura. Thank you.
Robin saying the kindness and support of other author friends is just amazing amongst you all. This is a really supportive community, I have to say, Heather, like an unusually, even in the author world, super supportive.
I agree. I think my experiences have always been everybody's cheering each other on, celebrating each other's successes there when things are a little tougher. So it is. I mean, I couldn't ask for a more supportive writing community to be surrounded by.
Mickey saying, you look so beautiful, Heather. Oh my gosh, she does. She's like radiant over there, this radiant, beautiful blonde.
Thanks, Mickey.
Jane saying she cannot wait to get her copy. Yay, we're all so excited for it. I'm popping the other blurb so everyone can read at their own pleasure. Donna saying One Breath Away was her favorite. Jane saying Not a Sound is her favorite. Melissa saying she agrees that everything goes in a different direction. Such a great point. Kim saying The Weight of Silence had a lot of similarities to the Evansdale girls murder mystery.
Yeah, and I will speak to that. The
Tell
Weight of
us.
Silence came out several years before that Evansdale event, which was very sad. So Evansdale's in Iowa, where two young girls disappeared, and was eerily similar at the outset to The Weight of Silence. But I had written The Weight of Silence first, and I find that happens so much with so many of our books. I think in the truth is stranger than fiction sometimes, and just wild how some of these things do end up happening in the news or being inspired by the news.
Melissa was saying wants to know, do you have a favorite of your novels, or is that a taboo question to ask?
Not a taboo question. That's not at all. It's hard to pick a favorite, I think, because they're all our book children, and so it's hard to pick. But there are books that I feel like a little bit more of a connection to in different ways, and each book is special in its own way. The Way to Silence is special because it was my first book. I had no idea what I was doing, and it was just me and the story and the words, so that made it special. Not a Sound is special just because there are a lot of little snippets in the book that are important to me in my life. Not that the story's about me in my life, but there's some some topics that I cover that were important to me. But every book has either a character or a plot line or a setting that means a lot to me. So it's really hard to uh, feature one as my favorite.
Chrissy says These Things Hidden and Not a Sound were her favorites. Good choices,
Thank
Chrissy.
you.
Catch a Clue wants to know, Heather, how are you going to celebrate with Pub Day?
Oh my goodness. So Pub Day for me, pre-Pub Day, I get to go to my old hometown, Dubuque, Iowa, and celebrate with the bookstore there, which River Lights, which is so much fun. Just they've been with me since the very beginning, so I'm going to celebrate there. And then on Pub Day, I will do a few more interviews. I will have a book event at a local bookstore, Swamp Fox Books, where I live now, with the wonderful Laura McHugh. If you're familiar with her writing, she's an amazing mystery thriller writer, and she is going to be in conversation along with me. So it'll be just so much fun to be around readers and fellow book lovers. I think that will be the most special part of the day.
Yay. Well, I'm so excited to be able to offer a special giveaway. So if you've already commented, great. I know you're here. If you haven't commented, tell us where you're watching from tonight, and I will pick a lucky winner to win a copy of Heather's book, Everyone is Watching. Yay. And don't forget to join Mystery and Thriller Mavens over on Facebook, where all the good tea is spilled. We talk about reading. You can request your favorite author. So hop on over there, y'all, and join the Mavens. Heather Gudenkauf, thank you so much for joining us and giving us the inside scoop on Everyone is Watching. Congratulations on book number 10. What an incredible accomplishment. And I hope you will come back and share the inside scoop when your next book comes out.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Sarah. Always love talking with you.
Oh, Heather, I love talking with you. It is such a pleasure. You are one of those incredibly supportive, wonderful people that is such a pillar and such an incredible part of this community. And I just so value and have loved Heather was my second interview ever 4 years ago in March 2020. And what a pleasure, because here we are in March 2024 to have you back again, Heather, 450 interviews later. To be able to host you again and to now call you a friend is just such a heart-filling full circle moment. And I'm so excited to share that with all of my Mavens, my wonderful Mavens community, many of whom have been with me the whole 4 years and some of whom are brand new, and every single one is appreciated. So thank you all for spending your Monday nights with me. That is a wrap. I hope your week is off to a killer start, and I will see you next Monday.
Thanks, everyone.
Hold our book up, Heather.
Okay.
Yay!